Hey guys, we are in a weekend of some high strangeness. Also, definite themes of shedding some skin, major transformations, major release, major endings happening, specifically in the realms of love and money. But I do believe, you guys, a lot of the energy that's been playing out this entire year and a lot of the energy that's been playing out for a good portion of last year, specifically since around February of 2021 up until this point today, I feel like this energy this weekend and heading into next week with our full moon lunar eclipse in the sign of Taurus conjunct Uranus has really all been building towards. We are in critical times right now, you guys. We have lots of very significant energy playing out, life-changing stuff. Let's jump into this chart. Let's see what we have going on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, what we might be able to anticipate as we head towards this big full moon that is coming up next week. Welcome back to my channel, you guys. Today is Friday, November 4th, 2022. My name is Aubrey, and this is your astrological outlook of the day. I'm going to be talking about the energy that we have going on for Friday, November 4th, Saturday, November 5th, Sunday, November 6th. You guys, it's a pretty epic weekend. We've got a lot of energy to talk about. I'm going to try to move through each of these days without going off on too many in-depth tangents because there is a lot to say. We are in some critical times right now. This is really what it's all coming down to. This period of time right now is what it's all about. Whatever has been playing out over this course of this past year and a half, honestly, I feel like since the winter-ish of the end of 2020, the beginning of 2021, I feel like the major changes and shifts that have been happening since around that period of time are coming to some type of culmination now with this energy that's going on, some type of transformation, some type of metamorphosis, some type of massive release. I guess relief too. We are shedding our skin, you guys. We are breaking some serious spells that we've been under. And there may be, like I said, this element of like high strangeness or high weirdness that we're also sort of navigating in the energy this weekend. There's a very, very strong Uranus influence playing out, unexpected things, bizarre behavior, sudden endings, but there is also a highly fated, highly destined dynamic that is playing into everything this weekend as well. So we need to rest in our faith, you guys. We need to not allow our fears to control us. We need to make sure that we are keeping our mind and our inner vision focused on that which we wish to experience and create as we are going through this energy. And we just sort of gotta like surrender to the changes that are coming now and realize, yes, we are in highly fated and destined times. However, as humans, we are always gifted with free will in that we can choose our reactions, our responses, our mindsets, and the way that we allow scenarios to impact our personal frequency and vibration. This is also, a powerful test to see what externally we are still allowing to sabotage perhaps the progress and the trajectory that we've been making in terms of our personal growth and our personal process of alchemization and transmutation at this point in time as well, because we're all going through it, you guys. This is a collective transition into the age of Aquarius, and as a result of that, we are all being called towards this process of self-actualization through this hero's journey, through transmuting and alchemizing our states of victimhood into states of self-mastery. And this shedding of the skin, this breaking of the spell, this massive purge and release of the past paradigm and our past mindsets and our past views of ourselves. It's all going, you guys. We are graduating. We are going through a personal evolution. And this weekend, moving into this moon, early next week is playing a major role in this. Very interesting times that we are in, you guys. This is life-changing stuff. Let's talk about the energy specifically that we have going on for Friday. Now, Friday is our day this weekend when we don't have an exact activation happening, but it's just, it might as well be, okay? And there's a major emphasis on the Pisces energy, this Neptune, Jupiter, Pisces dynamic square Mars going on Friday as well. We're going to have the moon in late Pisces on Friday, forming a conjunction to both Neptune and Jupiter in the sign of Pisces, also a square to Mars. To me, this is that spell-breaking energy. The more I think about this Mars square Neptune dynamic, Gemini, Pisces, in terms of this extended Mars stay in the sign of Gemini as a result of this retrograde process, in the context simultaneously of this mutual reception that is going on right now between Mars in Gemini and Mercury, ruler of Gemini, in the sign of Scorpio, this fusion and blending of this Gemini and Scorpio vibes. This is a clear recipe for seeing the truth about something, for gaining some type of information or learning something that helps us to solve core root issues. Gemini, the sign of the mind, the teacher, learning things. And Scorpio, the sign of purge, purification, getting to the root, figuring out the core of something and going through this transformative transmutation process. We combine these two energies, we're learning what is necessary to heal root issues through this Mars retrograde process as well. But then when we throw into it the square that is simultaneously happening between Mars, that same planet, in that mutual reception with Mercury, that is getting to the root of the problem, learning about the root of the problem, discovering the root of the problem, also in the square to Neptune, also retrograde, in the sign of Pisces. And now Jupiter has backed into Pisces and is in, a 7-degree, it's a wide conjunction. I personally don't normally count that as a conjunction, but since both of these planets are in their sign of rulership and this Pisces energy is so strong, and we're talking about Jupiter, this planet of expansion, I feel like this is very much, expanding and emphasizing and weighting heavy on these Pisces vibes. Pisces rules hypnosis and illusion and fantasies and spells and fog and mist and confusion and lack of clarity. Squares, squaring Mars, the warrior. Squares bring challenge and conflict, and they break things down. In the sign of Gemini, about information in the mind and learning and talking and communicating and having conversations and figuring things out with this Scorpio flavor, having to do with power and control, subconscious issues, psychic issues, deep hidden fears, like the root of the problem, like traumas that we are not recognizing, subconscious programming. All this type of stuff is what we are gaining an awareness of. And what is it doing with the square and this extended stay Mars retrograde period? It is helping us to dispel any type of personal illusion or break any spell that we have been personally operating under in regards to what, you guys, where is all this going? Where do I always say all this is going? The North Node in Taurus, Uranus in Taurus, the truth of our own value, the truth of our own potential, our own self-worth. We are graduating from a phase where we were surrendering our power because we didn't recognize this value that we hold inside of us, or even if we did recognize it, it's like we didn't know what to do with it. We didn't know how to use it. We didn't know how to cultivate it. We didn't know how to translate it into something that could be reflected externally outward so that we could actually have something physical and tangible and material to show for it in some type of way. We didn't know how to translate our value into a tangible good, or we didn't recognize it in the first place. And as a result of that, we may have found ourselves in these attachments that were prohibiting our growth or keeping us from recognizing, perpetuating a situation where we were constantly neglecting to recognize the truth of that value. But we're heading towards the age of Aquarius, you guys, and this is a process of self-actualization. This is a hero's journey. This is a process of transmuting states of victimhood into self-mastery in order to really activate our destiny and fulfill the purpose through which God, universe, great spirit brought us here at this point in time, to turn on our inner light, to illuminate the gifts and, those resources and that value within us so that we can grab onto it and use it as like a mechanism to propel us forward down this new path, this leading us to the age of Aquarius, where we will find so much more fulfillment as a result of the world around us reflecting that which our soul truly needs to feel purpose and to feel fulfilled and to feel like truly happy and blessed in this world. Even though it appears that everything around us may be crumbling at this point in time, it's really because we are on the verge of birthing a new golden age for ourselves that is comprised of that which we truly need in order to really feel a sense of happiness and wholeness and fulfillment in this 222 year as well, you guys. It's written so many ways across so many different symbolic mechanisms that come through to us in this 3D paradigm. If we can only look at it, if we can only perceive, if we can only see where it's going. And that's what we're doing on this channel. We are looking at the data that is available for us on this energetic level, and this is what it's saying. So with the moon coming into Pisces and emphasizing, you guys, this energy, this square that we have going on while we have this mutual reception playing out and all of this South Node energy, and Venus also this weekend, you guys, is coming into an exact opposition with Uranus. We are awakening to the truth of something that we find valuable within us or in our world or as a part of our lives in one way or another. And this process is breaking us out of some type of spell, helping us to align with a higher version of ourselves and helping us to detach from the things and the world or the reality that we may have created for ourselves before we were able to understand that it's not actually a reflection of who we feel ourselves becoming now. So let's talk more specifically about, just the generals and like the way that this energy may be acting and operating today. Now, we could be feeling with this highlight and this emphasis, the moon conjuncting Neptune and Jupiter in the sign of Pisces, we could be feeling very spiritually inspired to change something in some type of way, to release something, to detach ourselves from something, or to avoid, hide from, run away, a conflict or a more difficult situation with this square going on to Mars and Gemini as well. This could also definitely perhaps be emphasizing things to do with oil, things to do with fuel, things to do with storms, or with like things deep under the water, because we're talking about Pisces. This is a sign ruling oil, ruling things deep under the sea, and with the moon there as well, and Jupiter coming back into the conjunction right now as well, or within range in the sign of Pisces as well. This could definitely be putting an emphasis on that, because when we're talking about the square to Mars and Gemini, this is also creating like conflict or war or aggression or threats or just like issues generally could be going on with that type of stuff, like a more aggressive conflicting energy, especially in terms of news information. There could be like news or information that we're hearing about that type of stuff as well, but there could be some emphasis or highlight on like oil stuff going on this weekend. So wanted to mention that, but definitely though, like I've said, I'm just going to restate because I have it written down, these massive themes of endings, detachment, and surrender of the spell that we've been under, or that which is no longer good for us. And for whatever reason, we're waking up to realize that, wait, this is not good for me. I should not keep doing this. I've been doing this and I've been going in this circle and I've been on this merry-go-round and been in this pattern. I've been getting the same results. And oh my gosh, like I'm finally seeing it. And now because I'm seeing it and I'm gaining this awareness, I'm going to jump off and I'm going to make a big change, dispelling the illusion. With Mars squaring Neptune and Pisces, to me, like I said, it is like breaking this collective spell or this collective hypnosis, like waking up from this dream and being like, whoa, what did I do? You know what I mean? Like that's sort of the vibe. And like, more importantly, not only what did I do, like, what am I going to do next to fix the situation? Mars retrograde, square Neptune and Pisces, with Jupiter there too, with the moon, all the Scorpio energy, and Mars, Mars, Mercury, mutual reception. What are we going to do next? How are we going to fix it? That's what we're doing with this Mars retrograde. So we have a major South Node emphasis going on today. The sun, like I said, we just had Venus conjuncting the South Node. The South Node is the past. The South Node is endings. The South Node is karmic cycles. The South Node is what we are releasing, detaching, moving away from in the sign of Scorpio. Releasing, detaching, moving away from anything anything toxic that we've been attached to that has been stealing our power or sabotaging our process of growth in alignment with the truth of our value. Okay, this Taurus North Node, Uranus energy. And this weekend, we are building, like I said, into this full moon energy that is going to be in the signs of Taurus and Scorpio. That is going to be a full lunar eclipse. That is going to be conjunct the planet Uranus and Taurus. Uranus is the great awakener. Uranus puts things right. A lot of the big changes that have been happening, you guys, over the course of this past year and a half have been happening in order to push us off a cliff so that we can figure out that we always had wings and that we can fly. This is waking us up to the truth of our latent value, our latent potential, our latent ability that we may have been neglecting or overlooking or not recognizing, not seeing. If we have been living our life in a way that is not in alignment with our true purpose, with activating our destiny, with doing and harnessing and using the gifts, talents, and potential that we came here with, then we are getting shifted around and forced into a situation where we can't do anything but that. That is what this Uranus square Saturn energy has been doing for us in the sign of Taurus. Resources, value, worth, and what are you going to do with it to grow something, to lay a foundation, to build something that can lead to the sense of comfort and pleasure and abundance and just relaxation that Taurus also is so fond of. We can't get to the goodness of the Taurus vibe until we've built it, until we've created the abundance, until we've provided the comfort for ourselves. But where does it come from? It comes from within. It comes from the resources that we are holding within us and what we can build with our own two hands, essentially, as, you know, a metaphor. It doesn't necessarily have to be with our own two hands. We don't need to all be sitting around like crafting. That's not what I'm saying. Or like, you know, building. Although, you know, the more skills that we can learn, the more productive, tangible skills that we can learn to be able to do various things for ourselves and be less reliant on like the external matrix of the past, that's definitely going to benefit us as we are going through this period of time that may be more uncertain in terms of the external matrix, in terms of the external resources and supply chains and financial systems and economies and markets and all of that. That type of stuff may really be undergoing some major disruptions, some major changes or upheavals as we are going through this period of time as well, and heading into the winter and heading into 2023. But the more resourceful, the more like personally educated in terms of our own strengths, our own weaknesses, and like prepared to counter those and to expand upon them, that is what is going to benefit us as we're going through this period of time, and ultimately also provide a source of comfort, also this Taurus vibe, right? If we can feel like we can rely on ourselves, it will cut back on the fear if we are less reliant upon external like sources to provide every aspect of our lives. Okay, the more we can be like personally responsible for our own well-being, our own family's well-being at this period of time, the better. And that is also a facet of what this North Node in Taurus energy is trying to teach to us and trying to help us get in alignment with right now. So things are happening to detach us from the old versions of ourselves that were a large part of that illusion, that illusion may have been based on or built around in a lot of cases. And we are waking up to who we truly are. And this is changing everything. This is like the life-changing component of this eclipse season of where we're at right now. We are waking up to who we truly are. And like I said, being like, oh my God, what have I been doing? Like, what have I been doing? I need to radically change course and head in this direction like pronto. We are likely to feel, like I said, this level of strangeness, very strange today, this high weirdness that is playing out this weekend, very strange energy with Venus both in a square to Saturn, which is a very aloof and detached energy, and also the opposition to Uranus, which is a very erratic and like unpredictable, unexpected, bizarre energy. With the moon also in the sign of Pisces, and with the Neptune Jupiter stuff going on and the square to Mars and all of this, recipe for some generalized weirdness that we have playing out. So just be prepared for that. People are likely to be thinking, speaking, and behaving in some aloof, strange, unusual, or erratic ways as this energy plays out. And it may be a very, very sensitive and emotional day as well. People may be acting very like overly emotional, overly aggressive as well as something that could be coming out. People could just be like very, very touchy about things, hypersensitive or like hyper reactive with just this huge water emphasis that we have going on, and all of this tension building towards this full moon and this Uranus energy and this Saturn square and this South Node and these endings. Like, people may just be not knowing how to handle themselves in the intensity of the energy as it's coming at us on Friday and just going through the weekend generally. Unexpected difficulties, restrictions, blockages, changes, awakenings to things in the realms of love and money. Venus is in the, well, she's building into exact opposition with Uranus, and she's building into exact square with Saturn. So that's sort of where this is coming from. Could be bringing surprising financial changes or realignments as well, also impacting relationship dynamics. There could be a major theme on relationship dynamics going on right now. Breaking commitments, escaping from situations, radical reversals, reconsidering things, and especially with this emphasis on the Pisces vibe right now too, because Pisces, you guys, the Pisces vibe a lot of times is very good at detaching, very good at surrendering, very good at not being involved, very good at sort of just like fading away, dissolving away, disappearing. Ghost disappearing act. We are breaking the spell and there's a disappearing act going on. And we could be like totally just deciding to end things, to run away from something, to avoid something, to escape from a relationship or commitment that we feel like is too heavy for us with the Saturn square Venus energy, too challenging, too restricting to our freedom as well, with the opposition to from Venus to Uranus. This is also Venus opposite Uranus. This is also energy where we just change on a dime or just spontaneously do something weird in the realms of our relationships out of a need to feel free in some type of way, or to like break up some type of monotony, or just like get out of like a habit or a routine in the regard of our like love and money situation, something like that. So something like that could be playing through as well. Like I said, it's like a disappearing act with all this like Pisces energy and the Scorpio, Gemini. It's interesting too because Gemini is the magician in the tarot card, or in tarot cards. Mercury rules the magician, and like this Mercury, Scorpio, Mars, Gemini energy, it just really makes me feel like that vibe and that dynamic sort of. But people are generally having a tendency towards escapism, likely to be very strong today. If you know people who just generally have escapism as a coping mechanism or a tendency, you might want to just keep in mind that that may be like extreme today. And watch, substances, especially alcohol. We don't want to literally like drown in the bottle or our emotions today with all of this water energy that we have going on as well. And the past could be super, super relevant today, really coming back up, patterns coming back up, people coming back up all weekend because of all the South Node activity, which is ruling the past. Okay, so learning things about the past or past patterns or cycles coming back around, helping us to gain an awareness of that which must be released, transmuted, transcended, detached from, alchemized, elevated out of, as this energy is playing out, helping us to gain an awareness of what must be released. Okay, 13 degrees of Taurus, the position of the earth today. That Sabian symbol is a porter carrying a heavy mountain of baggage, or a porter carrying a mountain of heavy baggage actually is the correct wording. But I feel like this is describing today on the ground that things could be feeling quite heavy. However, the porter is carrying the mountain of heavy baggage. I also feel like this is saying that it is time for us to surrender our burdens to the universe, surrender to the process that is upon us now, and really like have some faith and let universe take it from here. I feel like a huge element of fate and divine alignment is playing out today. And again, our role in all of this is how we are acting, how we are reacting, the mindset, the attitude, the perspective that we are choosing to happen. I choose to see this adverse circumstance or event as a good thing. Therefore, it is. Every man is a golden link in the chain of my good. Therefore, even the less comfortable or more difficult or not the most positive encounters or interactions are still ultimately working for my good in the end. So there is no reason for me to hold negativity or fear inside, because I am resting in the hands of God, and I know therefore I am protected, and that's just what we're doing. And there's nothing that is pulling us out of that mindset as we are going through this energy. We are resting in our faith, and we are not being controlled by our fear, and we are surrendering to the process and embracing the potential that universe is trying to bring into our lives at this point in time. Let's move on and talk about Saturday now. Saturday, November 5th. This is the day where we are going to have the sun coming into the exact conjunction with the South Node. Another day majorly activating this new moon eclipse that we had on the 25th of October in Scorpio, which was our South Node eclipse, which was in conjunction with Venus, again, indicating these transformations going on some very deep levels in regards to our perception of our own value, and therefore what we do and don't want in relationship dynamics dynamics anymore, and what we will and will not surrender to in terms of money or resources or value externally anymore in order to get those things. Very interesting dynamic as this is playing out. Also really to me plays into this Mars, Scorpio, Gemini, Mercury mutual reception that we have in this deep transformation, again, in regards to recognizing what has been keeping us from being able to realize the truth of our value and fixing that. But we are being upgraded in terms of our psychic and subconscious programming and being recalibrated and being rewired. There are strong themes from the past coming back in, like I said, all weekend, but it's being purged, transformed, and transcended. And universe is actually like literally referring to it as a process of installation in terms of new connections that are being recalibrated in our own internal algorithms and software. And with Mars, Gemini, mutual reception, or Mars, Mercury, and mutual reception, I do feel like this is referring to our subconscious programming that is undergoing these new installations right now. And listen to this. This is the degree where the South Node is, where the Sun is coming into conjunction, where Venus was in conjunction, where Mercury will also be coming into conjunction with the South Node in a couple of days. Telephone linesmen at work installing new connections. So this is literally, to me, talking about the resonance and the frequency and the recalibration of our subconscious programming in alignment with this phase of evolution, growth, transformation that we're going on right now. We are gaining like new neural synapses to help us understand what is happening, what has happened, and usher in this process of transformation that is aligning us with the truth of our purpose, the truth of our value, and helping us to activate our destiny, go through this hero's journey, go through this process of self-actualization, and begin to live this life that is in such a greater alignment with that which really fills us up on a heart and soul-based level in this 222 year, like we always talk about. But it's being like specifically referred to, you guys, by the actual symbolism in accordance with the position of the South Node right now as these activations are happening. We are becoming a more evolved version of ourselves, shedding our own skin, Scorpio energy, right? Stepping into a new paradigm of personal greatness, honestly, in a lot of ways, because we are rising into our higher potential, because we are awakening to it. And therefore, we are going through this self-actualization process that is bringing us to a state of self-mastery and alignment with our own personal greatness. So it's a revolution in personal greatness, you guys. But in order to get there, we do have to go through this breakdown process, which is where we are also at in this energy. But we also have Venus today at 17 degrees of Scorpio. This is an interesting Sabian symbol that I also feel like is quite descriptive of the energy that's playing out in our current process. That Sabian symbol is a woman filled with her own spirit, is the father of her own child. So I feel like this is describing this process of self-discovery, discovering that we've always had everything that we needed inside of us in order to create value, which is what I've been saying about this process of release, this eclipse that we are in right now, where Venus was eclipsed, this major theme on the North Node in Uranus in the sign of Taurus, a process of recognizing and awakening to the truth of our own value. A woman filled with her own spirit is the father of our own child. Rediscovering or discovering for the first time that we do contain within us all the value, all the potential, all the resources, all the creative energy necessary in order to create Venus, value in our external world, in our lives. We can do it. We have something. God gave us something that he wants us to share. Universe gave us something that is to be shared with the greater whole, with the greater collective, as we are heading into this transitional phase, moving into the age of Aquarius. And it is our job right now to find that treasure within us and extract it and figure out how to make it work for us and for the greater good of all. That is what the age of Aquarius, that is what this energy is pushing towards. And if we can't do it on our own, you guys, then the tower has to crumble so that we can learn that we can fly, so that we can find it. That's what it's all about. We are discovering that we've always had what we've needed inside of us in order to go through this process. Now, today is also really a day on Saturday that is very much ruled by Mars and Mars energy. Both the sun and the moon are in signs ruled by Mars. We have an Aries moon going on. Actually, the moon in Aries is coming into conjunction with Chiron on Saturday. But of course, we also have all of this Scorpio energy playing out as well. And Mars co-rules Scorpio with Pluto. So to me, on Saturday, Saturday, you know, alongside of this Sun South Node conjunction and this highlight on what we are releasing and what we are moving away from, this period of transformation and this period of detachment and breaking these cycles from the past and regenerating on these very deep levels. Aside from that, again, this Mars emphasis by the moon in the sign of Aries and all of the Scorpio energy ruled by Mars is highlighting to me this Neptune square, this Mars Neptune square. And again, I feel like we are in some very, very strong spell breaking energy alongside this release energy that we have playing out on Saturday. Mars the warrior, retrograde, right? Reconsidering in the sign of Gemini. And then Neptune, spells, fantasies, hypnosis, illusions, squares, breaking things down. This, with the highlight on Mars today and the Sun conjuncting the South Node, this is releasing, detaching, escaping from the bondage to these illusions or these personal delusions. Remember, the moon is in the sign of Aries, you guys. Aries is ruled by Mars, and Aries is also the first sign of the zodiac, ruling the self. The moon will also be forming a conjunction to Chiron in Aries, which is about a personal healing journey, a very self-motivated healing journey as well, where we are essentially healing how we interact with the world, our personality, how we interact and relate with ourselves as well, and therefore how we assert ourselves and our levels of strength and courage and how we are able to be independent. This is what is being healed through this process, faith in ourselves as well, with Jupiter having been spending so much time in Aries lately and about to re-enter Aries in the next couple of weeks, months as well. But the moon in Aries is putting an emphasis on the self, while we have Mars and square to Neptune and Gemini, and while we have the Sun South Node activation. This is, you know, definitely this process of activating the hero's journey on an emotional level in regards to recognizing the truth of ourselves, the truth of our value, the truth of our potential, and detaching from any illusion or self-imposed delusion that we've been in regarding our own personal greatness, okay, where all of this is trying to take us. So there could be, I will say, you know, this is the moon in Chiron. We are at a South Node conjunct the Sun. We have this square going on between Mars and Neptune. There could definitely be some painful stuff that's going on today. There could definitely be some painful conflicts. There could be some painful things from the past that are coming up. We could be like really re-experiencing like a traumatic situation that we've been trying to, you know, get out of, or that we've been caught in for one reason or another. There could be some fights or some arguments or some painful endings that are going on today. Some really painful words and stuff like that could also be coming through, but it's because we are waking up from this dream. We are seeing the reality and we are choosing to take the off ramp. We are choosing to take the exit. We want to go in a different direction rather than keep heading in this direction that is not what we thought that it was, because we are not who we thought that we were when we were operating under this or within this mental or conscious haze or something that was detaching us from the truth of our own value and what really is important to us, and you know what is unique and special about us as well. That's the thing. We're in the age, heading towards the age of Aquarius. This is where we are sort of like finding our own weirdness and figuring out how we can use that to benefit ourselves and others, because you know our eccentricities, like our uniqueness, like our little quirks and stuff like that too, a lot of times really plays into what makes us special and what makes us be able to do things in a way that is unique and different, that can't be like replicated or commercialized, and that we can really use to be original and authentic and add more value to whatever it is that we are creating as we are looking for this golden nugget within us. We are breaking through these self-imposed illusions and delusions. We are seeing the truth of things, and we are ending this cycle where we couldn't see our value or our worth or our power to create. That is, to me, what all of this is really coming down to. A very powerful weekend for reconsidering and realigning our own relationship to our own reality and what we want to create in it going forward. Love, money, self-perception, toxic cycles in regards to these things are coming to an end, are coming to a halt, will not continue into this next phase. That is what is being eclipsed. That is what is being taken. That is what is going. That's what we're releasing. We are stepping into our queen and our king energy, you guys. That is what is coming next. That's the next phase. That is what we are being called to embrace and embody moving through this weekend and into next week. And if you guys watched my November report, remember, we have some very beautiful, positive, expansive, optimistic, hopeful energy that is coming at us the last 2 weeks of November. So it is time for us to rise to the challenge, you guys. It is time, like I said, for us to step into our Queen and King energy and move away from the versions of ourselves that were uncomfortable with that, or didn't see that part of ourselves, or just didn't know we had it in us. We do, and it's time. Now let's move on and let's talk about Sunday. We've got lots more energy to talk about on Sunday. This is another very big energy day. We have 2 major activations going on Sunday. Mercury is going to be conjuncting the South Node exactly on Sunday. We're also going to have Venus coming to the exact opposition with Uranus on Sunday. Of course, we are now only 2 days out from this full moon lunar eclipse. It's going to be happening on the 8th, conjunct Uranus. So we are really seriously building into this energy. Very strong emphasis also on Mars energy playing out on Sunday as well. So we've got Mercury, we've got Venus, and we've got Mars to talk about. Of course, Mars and Mercury are in this mutual reception like I've been talking about this whole report. There is this fusion and blending going on of this Scorpio-Mars energy. Very strong right now, mental reconfiguration. And with Mercury, the mind now coming into conjunction with the South Node. See, first we had Venus, that was the heart. Then we had the Sun, that is like our character and our essence and our spirit, okay, like what makes us who we are. And then we have now Mercury, our mind, coming in the conjunction with the South Node. This is a progression of release and transformation that has been hitting us across these 3 fronts. And with Mars, with Mercury, sorry, it happens to also be in alignment with this mutual reception, Mars energy, Mercury, Mars energy, Gemini, Scorpio energy that we have going on as well. Mental reconfiguration and release from the past, mental programming and thought patterns as well. This transformation of these patterns that have been either stealing our power, keeping us in self-sabotaging loops, or preventing us from recognizing the truth of our value in one way or another, which is where this is all coming back to, keeping us attached to things that are not healthy for us or not good for us. We're discovering it. We are figuring out the root of it, and we are changing it as well. Mercury, Gemini, ruling a sign that is very much to do with changing things. So this radical awakening that we have to the truth of our value, our priorities, and what we truly love. Remember, Mercury in the conjunction to the South Node is at that degree telephone linesmen at work installing new connections. So yes, on one hand, we definitely have a release, a purge, a process of transformation going on. But on the other hand, it's because there is this recalibration of these subconscious patterns going on to free us from anywhere we have been acting in self-sabotaging ways, or keeping ourselves attached to things that are not conducive to our growth or a realignment with the truth of our value. It's just all being severed. We're severing ties from the past by way of our mind and our thoughts today in this energy as well. And simultaneously, a radical awakening, Uranus, right? In the sign of Venus, opposing Venus to the truth of our value, to the truth of our potential, to the truth of our resources and what we hold inside of us and what we can do with them to create this sense of value and stability and comfort or abundance or beauty or something that we can benefit from in our external world somehow. So radically awakening to the truth of our heart, our values, our priorities, and what we truly love. Challenges also to our mind about how we feel, think, act toward and about ourselves. And this is also this like revolutionary energy that is coming through that is really switching it up in terms of our own self-perception, our own relationship to ourselves, and therefore also what we will and will not accept anymore, what we will and will not surrender to anymore, and what we feel we can do with what we are recognizing that we have inside of us. We are in a season of heart-based transformation, you guys. We are not afraid of the changes happening now, and we are seeing the beauty and the transformation that are happening deep within as well. We have Venus at 18 degrees of Scorpio today, woods rich in autumn coloring, Venus in her opposition to Uranus. That degree, 18 degrees of Taurus, where Uranus is right now, is a woman airing an old bag through a sunny window, giving it fresh air and sunlight. So we really are like clearing things out, cleaning things out, refreshing our mindset. Air, fresh air and sunlight. We are coming back to life. We are being reinvigorated. We are flushing out the toxicity. We are flushing out the stagnancy, and we are, being infused with this light and this new perspective that is coming through. And we're talking about Venus at that degree, a wood rich in autumn coloring. To me, a lot of times the woods in the forest represents like the more deeper recesses of our own psyche or our fears or the more subconscious realms and what we can't see in the dark and stuff like that. And with it being referred to as a wood rich in autumn coloring, it's like this valuable process of transformation that is unfolding through this reinvigoration brought by this fresh air, this new perspective, this new mindset, and this infusion with the light that is really illuminating for us the truth of this value, the truth of this potential, and the beauty that is coming through this process of transformation. Then we have Mars, 26 Gemini, where he's stationed retrograde, winter frost in the woods. So there, Venus and Mars are both specifically referencing the woods, which again, I feel like is talking about like what's going on in like our subconscious mind and, deeply, deeply within us. And winter frost in the woods, this is where a lot of things are going on under the surface. And we're going through this autumn process that is heading to this period where there's winter frost in the woods. They're talking about the autumn coloring, and then we're talking about winter, and we're talking about the woods in both scenarios, both autumn and winter. So this transformative process is heading towards a winter, but there is a lot that is going to be taking place between now and literally next spring when Mars is done with his retrograde process and heads towards the end of Gemini and begins to exit Gemini. And we at that point in time are really going to be seeing the blooming and the new growth of some very beautiful flowers that have been seeded at this period of time under the surface. So we have a lot of beautiful things to look forward to and that this energy is leading us towards, but things may definitely feel a bit tense and chaotic right now in the context of just the initial phases of how we are building into this full moon energy, and also without having the hindsight is 2020 like situation, like we can't necessarily technically see how things are going to go, so it can be pretty scary, but we are like there are good things coming for us at the end of this process. We could definitely be encountering, though, like as this energy is playing out now, a lot of fights, conflicts, rivalries, polarization, and attempts to steal or manipulate or deceive with Mars and square to Neptune as well. And just generally lots of reckless action with Mars retrograde, people not thinking things through and just doing things that are ultimately like to their own detriment in one way or another. Because that's the thing, like if we are acting recklessly or rashly or impulsively in this energy, especially with all this South Node activation, that's like instant karma. That's like instant backlash. Like you don't even turn around before you're getting like what you just like you're getting the lesson that you just overlooked or whatever like that. So we want to be very mindful about what we are doing, what we are saying, and how we are essentially like presenting ourselves and interacting with the various aspects of our lives right now. But honestly, like this aspect of things is also to be expected in a breakdown, you know what I mean? The storm is upon us. Like I can say that. It's even being referenced in the position of the Earth today. The Earth on Sunday is at 15 degrees of Taurus. That Sabian symbol is a man with a rakish silk hat muffled against the cold braves a storm. But I do think, this is referencing this storm that we are navigating right now. Like I say, we are in very crisis-oriented energy. These are critical times, but the man with the rakish silk hat muffled against the storm, we may feel a bit disheveled in this energy, but we get to choose our responses and our actions to all that is happening around us. The man, he has this rakish silk hat. He might be, like I said, like a bit disheveled, but he is prepared, and he's protecting his head. It's specifically the head that's being referenced. He's guarding his thoughts. He's not allowing things externally to alter his course, to sway him off the path, to push him off the path in any type of way. He's muffled against it. He's prepared, and he's guarding his mind. He's watching his thoughts. He's muffled. He's got the hat, okay, as we're going through this period of time. So I feel like that is also sort of explaining some of the things that we might be encountering and experiencing. Today is another day of these major fated awakenings and endings, though. I mean, come on, Venus opposite Uranus. This could be really learning the truth, you guys, about some things that have gone on in relationships, really waking up to some things, love and money on a very powerful level. This is also this mental release as well, with Mercury in the alignment with the South Node today. So major mental shifts and transformations based on awakening to purpose, potential, value. And that really, is like what all this is ultimately coming down to. Taurus, North Node, Taurus, Uranus, awakening to the truth of our own value, because that is what this cycle of growth is calling towards. That is a lesson that we are being called to learn at this point in time, you guys. So that is what I have to say for our energy for this weekend as it's playing out. You guys, shedding skin, breaking through illusions, whether they be self-imposed or a result of some type of programming or a result of some type of lack of understanding of something in one way or another. We are awakening to something generally, and it's likely to be pretty profound and life-changing. Also, these very fated endings, release, and moving away from that which we are realizing is not what is in our best interest any longer going forward. So that's where we're going to leave it in terms of the astrology today, you guys. Let's grab a synchronicity card now. God, Spirit, Universe, what do we need to know about the energy this weekend? What can benefit us as we are going through this energy? What is the best advice or guidance that can help us, we should keep in mind to help us navigate this energy in the best way possible? It says, drink of inspiration. So to me, this is saying that we need to stay inspired along the lines of that which we want to create based on what we are recognizing about ourselves as we are going through this weekend. And again, not allow ourselves to fall back into sort of the more negative emotions that may be associated with the processes of endings that are happening right now. We need to keep our eye on the prize, you guys, and stay aligned with our faith. As cold water to a weary soul, so is good news from a far country. Proverbs 25:25. You thirst spiritually when you lack joy, peace, inspiration, and confidence. Claim the living waters of the Almighty flow through you as wisdom, truth, and beauty, and as joy, harmony, power, and love. Accept this all as your own, and you will then draw from your spiritual waters all you need to give sustenance to your soul. And in this weekend, you guys, where we have this major emphasis on the Pisces energy, major emphasis on the Scorpio energy, and now this is talking about a need to draw from our spiritual waters. We've got that in abundance this weekend. We need to stay focused on our joy, inspiration, peace, and confidence despite what may be playing out in the chaos around us, and just know that we are heading in a better direction and not allow fears to throw us off course. Drink of inspiration, you guys. That is the synchronicity card, message from universe, and that's what I have to say, you guys. I hope you guys liked this video. If you did like it, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends if you think that they would be interested in this type of content too. Leave me comments, you guys. I love your comments. I love your feedback. I'm so grateful for each and every one of you. Thank you so much for being here. I also have a Facebook page, a Facebook group, and some other socials in my description box below if you're into any of that. Come back with me on Monday, you guys. We will be setting up for this full moon that we have coming at us on Tuesday. I will be here. You should be here too. You don't want to miss it. Wishing everybody a beautiful weekend, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, everyone.